Good morning and welcome to today's webinar with Veeam and NetApp. My name is Mallory Buttram and I'm the marketing coordinator for the Impact Growth Group here at Keller Schroeder. A quick rundown on how today's going to work. I'll intro our presenters that are on the call with us. NetApp will do a quick presentation followed by a Veeam presentation. We'll kind of meet back up for Q&A and then we will discuss the Apple Watch winner. So your free gift for attending, if you stay on for the duration of the webinar, we'll be sending you a $25 Amazon gift card. And additionally, if you ask a question in the chat or the Q&A, you'll be entered to win an Apple Watch from our friends at Veeam. So with us today, we have Jay Goodier, and Jay is a technical partner manager from NetApp. His background has spanned from systems administration, database administration, application development, and now flash and cloud storage systems and data management. He joined NetApp through the SolidFire acquisition, and prior to that, he was with Fusion.io, where he met Steve Wozniak. From Veeam, we have Kevin Scott Karafa. He is a national technical partner manager who has been in technology working for Silicon Valley-based companies for most of his career. He worked at NetApp in the early years for almost 2 decades, and he's been with Veeam for almost 3 years and is considered an expert on data in general. And unfortunately, Matt had to drop off the call today for a client emergency, so we will miss him, but we will continue on. And on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Kevin for us to get started. All right, Kevin, it looks like it's all you.
Great, thanks, Mallory. We are going to start with a fun video. So something that where do you go when you need a technology bump? And something creative, you go to your 13-year-old, and did this with my son. So there's about 1:30 intro. Oh, just 1 second. Does it sound right?
Welcome to Kevin Scott's Fireside Chat. Very glad you could make it today. I represent Veeam. I'm a National Technical Partner Manager. Here today to have a fireside chat. Now, it's not from Roosevelt's day. We brought it up to speed to make it current. And in the current situation that we're in, I thought it was time to do something different, but bring back the best of the best. So these conversations that we'll have are actually a good indication of technology and where Veeam's going, from our product set to experienced expert speakers. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Kevin Scott's Fireside Chat.
Jay, I'll pass it to you.
4K, huh? Did you have to buy the pipe, or did you already own the pipe?
So I did buy the pipe. No tobacco in there, but that was real bourbon. It's Old Forester 100. So it was after hours, in case you're wondering that I had the beverage, but I wanted to go full tilt with that. I think
totally
I like the ending when we're all done here, another 30 seconds.
Hey, Mallory, can you hand the ball to my other version of me?
I got it.
Sorry to be complicated. Please. The one with the video icon. There we go. There we go. So thanks everyone for joining today. On one area clarification. Can you still hear me? Can you please confirm that?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So that was, I had the privilege of meeting Steve Wozniak, one of the co-founders of Apple at Fusion.io. He was one of the founders and the chief scientist. Very personable, lovable kind of guy, like a teddy bear. He had this watch the size of, absolutely huge that he had made at a transistor is just an absolute geek. So yeah, Steve Wozniak. For anyone who doesn't know NetApp, my job today is to make it so you know NetApp a little bit more. And if you already know NetApp, hopefully you learn something new. Definitely encourage questions, either through the chat or feel free to interrupt me. We've got a small enough crowd to keep it intimate, but definitely want to keep it moving. We have one marketing slide. I like to keep it more technical. Then we're going to move from the least technical to the most technical as we go along here. So hopefully I lose people along the way. Talk about where the puck is going, about our ONTAP systems and software, our unified storage platform, our partnerships with FlexPod, our E-Series platform, and then some cloud and some more cloud. And you'll see a theme as we go along here. Oh, I should start up presentation mode. I apologize for that. Here we go. How's that? That look better, hopefully? I'll assume that no response is a good response.
Yeah, it's good, Jay.
Sweet. So Gartner Magic Quadrant for primary storage. This is a 2019 edition. The 2020 edition is not out yet. I don't know why. We'll blame COVID. So this is the most recent version. The interesting piece on this is that prior to 2019, this was actually two different Magic Quadrants that they consolidated into a single Magic Quadrant. Prior, it used to be an all-flash and then a separate spinning drive shared storage array quadrant. They've consolidated that because the world is going all-flash, and so why not just have just one? Of note, NetApp still does continue to ship some spinning drive systems, even though I'm a flash guy. But a lot of our customers do demand the lower cost per terabyte that spinning drives offer. So if you're interested in this report, it is freely available on NetApp's website. All you need to do is give us your email address. And I won't promise anything about spam, but I can tell you that it's probably worth your while. A little bit about everything we do at NetApp is designed to support our customers' journey in cloud and hybrid cloud, whether that be all public, all private cloud, all on-premise. Your version of that hybrid cloud, we have a solution for your business. And we've been working on this for quite a while now. NetApp made a conscious decision 5 years ago, instead of competing with the AWSs and Azure of the world, and so we're going to partner, and you'll see that theme throughout here. When we think about our typical customers, data center and IT operations, everyone has a core of some nature. Some people have some edge operation, whether that's, here in the Midwest, we've got lots of customers with, branch offices and plants, for manufacturers. And then more and more of our customers are also using some version of the cloud. And whether that cloud is Amazon, Microsoft, or Google, we've got similar partnerships at all of those cloud platforms. The idea of the data fabric, though, is your data where you want it, when you want it there, with the least friction possible. And also helping with, in addition to that mobility, but also the cost associated with that. We're only sending compressed, encrypted blocks between locations because one of the things we know of is the huge egress fees that customers can find when pulling data out of a cloud. We're going to start with some hardware, and then we'll move to some software. I always find hardware to be fascinating and interesting. I was just talking to earlier before everyone joined about Apple's new MacBook Air and the new processors they have, and I think it's just phenomenally interesting, right? And so here's the NetApp portfolio of hardware. So this is our all-flash lineup, the A series. AFF, for anyone not familiar, stands for All Flash FAS, which is an acronym within an acronym, because FAS is an acronym of itself, stands for Fabric Attached Storage. So in the FAS platform, what we have is starting at in the low end, the C190 2U. It's a shared disk architecture, starting at the very lowest price point, and scaling up and out as we move to the up and to the right. The important piece regarding the NetApp portfolio here is that the same operating system, the same storage OS runs on our smallest arrays to our largest arrays. So if you're familiar with the administration of one, you're familiar with the administration of all of them, including, as I mentioned already, NetApp continues to offer a lineup of hybrid and spinning drive arrays. And you'll notice the same thing here. Starting with the 2U smaller systems are far less costly to some of the highest end what systems for our largest customers. Again, running the same exact operating system. The main difference between the two lineups is one, marketing. Gartner back in the day forced us to have the separate lineup for all flash. That's mostly changed now, but remains as part of the portfolio. But from a technical standpoint, we've also removed the caching code that exists in these hybrid systems from the flash systems, because the flash systems has no need for caching, obviously. We just had it. October is the month where NetApp announces the new hardware platforms, and so the latest entry into our platform is a kind of a hybrid of sorts. It is an all-flash array, but it's under the hybrid moniker of FAS, with the F at the end to keep everyone on their toes, to keep it interesting. I tried to focus on the use cases here. So this new array that we added to the portfolio fits a gap in where customers want to stop buying spinning drives, but they can't afford or don't want to afford the all-flash cost. The 500F is designed to lower the cost using TLC flash drives to hopefully entice customers to stop buying spinning drives. Like I said, it hurts me every time we sell spinning Rust. That said, this is all flash. This is where the world is going, right? The key use cases for these types of systems is high volume for unstructured data. NetApp works with a lot of media and entertainment companies like DreamWorks, storing petabytes of data, and they're looking for smaller footprints to store that ever-increasing amount of data. It's not just those DreamWorks of the world, though. We've got lots of local customers running manufacturing with lots of large CAD files, some medical imaging, second-tier database applications, that kind of thing. And it can be a target for secondary storage, for a DR target and backup consolidation. I'm sure Kevin will mention something about that here in the second part of the presentation. All right, so data fabric. It can all start with a single HA pair shared storage disks. NetApp has the ability to migrate workloads from one HA pair to another HA pair non-disruptively without even telling the application that anything changed. Think of this like if you're familiar with the VMware storage vMotion, we can do that with all workloads, VMware or not. This is we call this part of our clustered data on tap operating system, and then part of the non-disruptive upgrade of moving from whether it been a prior generation system of spinning drives to a modern all-flash system to our next generation NVMe systems, non-disruptively moving those applications up the performance curve without changing the configuration of the application at all and just getting better performance. And similarly, if you had an application that no longer needed great performance, you could migrate it down to a lower performance system, non-disruptively, including now the ability to migrate workloads to the cloud. A couple different ways of going about that. But ONTAP Cloud is the same operating system offered on our on-premises arrays, available at Azure, Google Cloud, as well as AWS. It helps customers, whether that be for secondary workloads running analytics using cloud compute, or possibly some sort of DR scenario for certain applications. The ability to migrate and maintain applications in the same management style that you did on-prem in the cloud helps customers with cloud adoption. One other cloud-like feature that we have is technology we call Fabric Pool. And sometimes I call it cloud tiering. So what is Fabric Pool? We know that as data fills up your storage systems, much of that data is unused and is cold. Who wants to be spending high dollars per terabyte on all flash data when the data is never being accessed? So Fabric Pool and cloud tiering helps reduce the footprint of that cold data by migrating those blocks to a cloud tier. Now that cloud tier can be an on-premise object storage of your own. NetApp also sells an object storage platform called StorageGrid. Or lots of customers prefer to team up with one of our cloud partnerships, whether that be AWS, Azure, or Google, and tier those cold blocks into AWS S3 to help lower the cost per terabyte of their systems. This is a zero-touch management, automatic tiering. The files still look like they're there to users, to just have a slower access time. And should one of those files be accessed, they'll be recached so that you'll have faster access the second time they're read. But it is designed to be fully automatic in this whole new genre of policy-based storage management. Switching gears slightly here, we're talking a little bit more about the options we have for customers in the cloud. So this could be AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. Again, so here's what the option we just talked about looks like, of being able to migrate, say, an analytics workload to, say, AWS, because you want to use one of their powerful AI platforms to analyze your data. Say you're checking to see are customers happy or not, right? Snap mirrors our replication protocol to replicate data anywhere in the world, including the cloud. As the data migrates up, but like I said, both encrypted and compressed, to do so as efficiently as possible, can spin up those cloud services and then spin them back down and turn them off and start saving money. This is part of what NetApp customers are starting to do with their data. From an efficiency guarantee standpoint, NetApp has one of the best in the business. We have a 3-to-1 guaranteed dedupe compression guarantee across all workloads. The asterisk here, I'm an engineer, so I like to be upfront and honest about everything. Credibility is everything to me. We don't include workloads that are either pre-compressed or encrypted. So something like an encrypted database wouldn't qualify for the 3-to-1. So video archives, image archives, they wouldn't qualify because they're uncompressible, but everything else does. So it's a very aggressive, powerful guarantee, so that when you're buying NetApp all-flash systems, we're putting our money where our mouth is. That you will get the efficiencies that we promise, or we will give you free storage to make up the difference. Lots of customers have taken advantage of this. Obviously, we beat it most often, but when we don't, it's absolutely easy to do. Some customers have gotten shelves of disks to make up for the difference. A little bit about FlexPod. If you're not familiar with FlexPod, FlexPod is our partnership with Cisco. What makes a FlexPod? Well, if you're familiar with Cisco, they've got a Nexus line of switching, a UCS lineup of compute, and then combine that with NetApp storage, and you have a FlexPod. It's a flexible architecture, but based off of Cisco validated designs. So these Cisco CVDs, as we call them, it's designed to show that you're not the first guinea pig running this architecture. So we've got a validated design from anything from SAP HANA to Oracle databases, down to Citrix and Zen Desktop. You name it. If it's a popular application, we probably have the CVD written for this. This can show up in the form of a rack to your data center, or you can piece it together as you need. And that's part of the beauty of the flexibility of it all. Some of those other partnerships that, and it's a little grainy over here. My slide wasn't, but the Red Hat logo looks terrible. I did want to mention Red Hat, a strong partnership with them as well, especially when it comes to large scale enterprise automation in cloud compute. In our partnership with them and Cisco, building some of the most modern application architectures in the world. Switching gears, I try to avoid transition slides, so I always use the words switching gears. So here we are. NetApp has another storage operating system called Centricity. Centricity runs on top of our E-Series platform. So why would we have two different storage operating systems? The ONTAP operating system is great at all the feature, very rich in features that enterprises have come to know and love. Everything from snapshots, decompression, cloning, that snap mirror that we just talked about. But sometimes we want to let the application do the brains behind the data. And that could never be more true than our partnership with Veeam in the backup and recovery space. We've got a great landing spot for Veeam's software, right? They don't sell any hardware, but yet when we back up data, we need to put it somewhere. Part of our partnership with Veeam is to land that data on an inexpensive disk where they're doing the brains for that data. So backup recovery is a big space for us with the E-Series platform. I mentioned the video archives and that type of data. It's another great use for the E-Series platform. Again, far lower cost per terabyte. Let those applications that are otherwise managing that data do it on their own. Also have a lot of partnerships with some large-scale universities and other hardware manufacturers around the high-performance compute space, which I find to be ever-growing in the day and age of AI. Just a little more hardware. Like I said, I'm a huge fan. But we've got everything from entry-level hybrid systems to mid-range to all-flash, highest-performing systems. And to show you, so SPC is a Storage Performance Council. They have vendors can submit their systems to be ranked from both a performance and cost perspective. So there's SPC1 and SPC2 that the SPC2 is more cost focused, where the SPC1 is more performance focused. You can see we did win the SPC2, and that would be the performance per dollar. Beating some other systems there that you probably haven't heard of. And then, if you look at the chart on the left, we're third place. I hate ever showing, NetApp in anything less than first place, but, not many people are buying Fujitsu or Fusion Store systems. It's quite the achievement for NetApp to have one of the fastest performing systems on the planet from the SPC1 perspective of the best costs out there. So if you have any of those workloads looking for that kind of thing, these systems start very inexpensive. So something worth looking for if you have something where the application wants to do the data management. Switching to cloud. Cloud is where NetApp sees the puck going. And it's a never-moving puck, obviously. Some customers we have already moved to the cloud and they're already moving back. And a lot of customers, they're still on that journey to figure out what they're going to put where with respect to the cloud. But that's the beauty of the NetApp portfolio, is that wherever you are in that life cycle of data, we have a solution for you. Because of those partnerships we have with hyperscaler cloud providers, we can help you build an architecture that includes all three, plus an on-prem system, managing that data wherever you need it, and hopefully, and the goal that we have is that you spend less time administering the data and more time innovating, because that's what business is supposed to be about. From a global perspective, if you go to cloud.netapp.com, we've got a map out there that shows where the different data centers that we're working with are. Obviously, they're in the big population centers of the world. The nearest one being in Ohio. AWS launched their data center there about 5 years ago. We've been there since about then. But I'd love to go visit all the other data centers as well. This is the last slide. This is where I'll leave you. This is a company that NetApp bought last year, within the last year. And this is our ability to have cached files on the edge. So this could be branch offices or plants where you don't want a full a hardware NetApp array, but you do want to speed up users' file access and otherwise IoT data. We call it Global File Cache, is a new offering from NetApp. It is powered by the cloud to help speed up those file shares on edge locations. A lot of people don't know that NetApp offers this kind of thing, so I just wanted to highlight that as the final point here before I hand it off to Kevin, who's going to discuss, one of the most important things with data is don't lose data, and that's certainly, why we partner with Veeam, and Kevin can explain that far better than I can in a fireside chat methodology, right? Am I right, Kevin? If you can hear me, you're on mute.
Sorry, a little delay there.
It's okay.
Yeah, if you just pass me the ball, that'd be awesome.
I'll try. Nope, I can get to Mallory. Oh, yeah, I can do it. I did. Nope. Can't. Did that work?
Yes.
I think so.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, great content. It's amazing how, I've been gone from NetApp for about 3 or 4 years now, and it's just amazing how much everything has changed so fast, technology, right? Everybody, Jay, can you see my screen there has changed to my Superman
It looks
shirt?
perfect. We did have a question in the chat. I'll go ahead and take that on right now. And Kevin, I'd like, given your NetApp experience, actually, I'm going to read the question. We'll have you answer. With all the different data storage options available, what makes NetApp a better option to use with Veeam?
So I can tell you, I mentioned some in my presentation here, the overall experience, been doing business together 8 years. If you look at how we do things at Veeam, we have a unique situation where we're all software. And so when we leverage, that proprietary file system that we are, NetApp has a very similar story to that same ramp up. We've had 51 straight consecutive quarters of double-digit growth. Beginning of NetApp in 1992, very similar story. So the aggressive nature to do things right and release software, hardware code together at NetApp, very similar strategy if you look from a business side of Veeam. We'll talk about more in detail, but just a partnership between us. We have a lot of synergies that exist together in going to market, and we have the endorsement of the CEO of NetApp with the CEO of Veeam. They just really work well together. A lot of things are done joined in integration series. So this product I'm about to talk about, it took NetApp software developers and Veeam software developers working together to make sure that this works really well together. So it's not a common thing in the industry really, and it shows really the length that Veeam and NetApp go together with a partner like Keller Schroeder to create a very stable, reliable, flexible, simple product.
I'll add one more piece, and this is probably something that I don't like talking about from an engineering perspective because I'm a geek, but cost matters. I mentioned cost a couple of times in the presentation. The E-Series platform. What do customers like about that with Veeam? It's low cost, right? You want reliable, and I can tell you that E-Series is a 6.9 platform, very reliable, easy to manage. It's a simple web-based GUI. Set it, forget it, and then low cost. Those are the three cornerstones of why you might want to back up your data to E-Series with Veeam. The other thing that I'll mention, that the data that you're backing up, let's just say it's on the ONTAP FAS platform, you've got to like the features there, right? And NetApp's a file storage leader in the world. The features there, again, easy management, whether that's managing the system or managing where the data lies, anywhere in the cloud. But those snapshots and cloning and API automation and the integration with partners like Veeam make your job easier. We help you make you look good and hopefully make it easy. Hand it back to Kevin. Sorry, Kevin.
I know it's a good point. So the Ingenio acquisition which is where the E-Series came from. There are over 1 million shells in the world of the E-Series that exist on the planet. And to do that with that high availability is just, crazy when you try to fathom that. And then put that together with Veeam software, which we'll talk about how many copies are actually in production right now at customer sites. It is a great story, and it's a low-cost alternative to buying from an appliance vendor that's a competitor that really has, maybe they're not IPO'd yet, maybe they're not a solid business, don't have a lot of customers, where NetApp is, a tried and true company with a solid direction. Good stuff. If you have any more questions, let us know. So I have been introduced. My name is Kevin Scott Karafa, National Technical Partner Manager for Veeam. Keller Schroeder is a partner that I focus on, and I did spend 19 years at NetApp, so one of the first 100 employees at NetApp, and was there 19 years. Mouse, there it goes. So just a recap and up to date on Veeam in case you don't know the current information. So we were acquired for a company called Insight Partners Investment Company, not the resale company, for $5 billion in February. So we're moving our headquarters from a European headquarters to US based, as well as our two founders, which are of Russian background, Andrei and Ratmir, have stepped down out of the company, and now our consultants no longer in the Veeam payroll. This has really opened up for a lot of SLED customers, realizing that we're a US-based company now. An acquisition which ties really closely to what Jay was talking about in Kubernetes and container backups, the world leader, Castin. They are now a Veeam company as of about a month ago. So we are looking at providing service and support for Google Cloud Platform, Azure more deeply, object storage, and anything to do with Kubernetes and container backups, from that technology. Here's our magic quadrant. I know Jay showed this. It's actually, since this came out, where we just hit over 400,000 customers worldwide and counting. So you can see that Veeam, just like NetApp in the storage chart, is the leader all the way up and to the right. I think this is important to note as a potential customer of Veeam. Understand that we don't have to publish our numbers. We're not publicly traded, but we do anyway. And so this is actually the first half of 2020, we grew at 7%. We're number three worldwide. Dell, number one, lost 9% share. Veritas, number two, lost almost 9% share, and everybody average losing 2% share. We just released our Q3 numbers, 22% growth year over year. Very excited to have our customer base that we have. We're going to talk about transformation a little bit as a focus as a company, just briefly. Now, that is me on the left as of January. That is me on the right just recently, about a week ago. Now, this isn't to brag that I, did something remarkable here. I was a Division I college basketball player, NAIA, out of Michigan. So I didn't look like I did on the left there, but the transformation I made has taken a lot of work and effort and a focus. And that's really what I want you to take away from this. And I'm very thankful I'm able to do this. And I walked 4 miles this morning with weights for about an hour a day. But looking at this, what does it mean for Veeam to make a digital transformation? And what it means right now, a lot of companies in data protection are not focused on protecting the data anymore, whether they're a NAS company, first and foremost, or other things. Data protection is kind of a line item on their quote, where we have announced that is our number one focus for customers, protecting that data. The second one for you as a customer is giving you the ability to manage that data with a partner like Keller Schroeder. And together, integrations like NetApp help you monitor analytics, automation, orchestration, governance, and compliance. The third piece is one of my favorite questions to ever ask a customer. Well, how are you utilizing your data that's protected by backup solution like Veeam? Let's unleash that data. Let's reuse that data to create new products and new services for you. If you follow the 3-2-1 rule, it's 3 copies of your data, 2 different media types, 1 offsite, offline, and then verifying that there's 0 errors. You have 3 times that data, whether that's on we're looking at what the storage platform NetApp that it's on. I love the fact with Fabric pools that they can move that off and actually archive the object storage. So again, protecting, managing, and unleashing that data is our three focuses for 2021. Just a quick question you can put in the chat here. So a unique download, if Jay Goodier downloads Veeam software 10 times, that counts as one unique download. Any idea, February 18, 2020, our V10 software came out with all these features. Any idea, anyone want to take a guess on how many unique downloads we've had of V10 with zero major bugs since February? I can't see the chat right now. I don't know if someone let me know so many guesses here.
Put your guess in. It counts 100 grand we got.
100,000. All right, that's a pretty good guess. Anybody else want to
I'm going with 2.3 million.
Woo! That would be amazing. That's a little high, but we're at 600,000. So 600,000 copy unique downloads. We estimate about 1 million copies of V10 exist in production, and if you count our versions before that, anywhere between 1.3 and 1.5 million copies of our software exist at customer situations. Now we're here today to talk about Veeam Availability Orchestrator. So I pulled some disaster data, and all these are different categories here. You can look and pick one of the ones you want to focus on. But since 1980, there has been natural disasters and weather and climate that have attributed to $1.5 trillion in damages. Now, I don't know if everybody lives by Milltown, Indiana. Milltown, Indiana is about 45 miles, I believe it was, west of Louisville. December 22nd, 23rd, 2004, coming up on the 16-year anniversary, it closed Interstate 64 for 3 days. Interstate 65 was still shut down in one passable lane. No one could go anywhere. 32 inches of snow fell in a 24-hour period. It's a disaster, and disasters happen. So if you're looking at whether it's a fire, flood, storm, malware, hardware, corruption, it's about recovering it. 82% of businesses do not feel prepared. The latest study that was done. When does disaster strike? 40 to 60% of all businesses close down within 2 years or never reopen because of a full site disaster. And they can be very costly. So you look at a critical app in an infrastructure for a customer, average downtime is 2 to 4 hours, and a critical app cost of 1 hour of downtime averages about $67,000. Now the timeline for disasters, on the far left, there's a lot on this slide, but just look, last replication or last backup is your recovery point objective on the left side. Recovery time is this limited point, limited time that you can come back from. In the middle section, you're looking at downtime. How do I get back online as fast as I possibly can? Now, the common pain points of disaster recovery, don't have to really tell too much about this. There's no secret here. The technical challenge is creating a plan, testing the plan, reporting on the plan, keeping it up to date and proven. So one of the things here, if Keller Schroeder created a plan for you without Veeam, doing a disaster recovery plan, a run book, as we call it, and they sent it, as soon as they email it, see if someone can answer this question, what's wrong with that as soon as they email it? What could possibly be wrong with that plan? Anybody in the chat? What could be wrong with that plan as soon as they email it to you?
I'm watching, no answer yet.
Okay, could get an Apple Watch if you ask a question there.
I mean, an Apple Watch is pretty sweet. I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah, absolutely. I have one on as well. Tracks my walks every morning. So that the key here is as soon as you email it, it becomes outdated. Something could have changed in the environment. It's not a dynamic document. So Veeam, we set out to do something different here. And DR planning is complex. Look at all those terms in the middle. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle here. So instead of having an easy button here, what about a button that does one-click failover? And that's what Veeam Availability Orchestrator gives you in version 3. Disaster recovery, press that button, you're ready to go in one click. The solution overview, there's 3 main things. I believe people remember things in 3s. As a matter of fact, if your spouse, your friend, your brother, whoever it is, gives you a list of 3 things to do, you normally remember at least 1 or 2 of those. If I give you 4 or 5, you might only remember 1 or 0 of those things. That's just the way that psychology works. So reliable recovery, automated testing, and dynamic documentation. So reliable recovery, it's really, it's the same concept really, and that's why it's so strong with NetApp. It's any app, any data at any time. And with the NetApp story, going to any platform and being available for you wherever you want that data. It's automated testing. Wouldn't you like to test your DR plan without having to spend the entire 3-day weekend to actually test it and see it? Majority of the time, 85% of the time, over that 3-day weekend, something goes wrong and you're not able to find out why it went wrong. Dynamic documents. Again, the documentation trail of not just a test plan that was all tested and automated. You can check that box as a customer for your executives that you not only have a plan, but you've tested the plan fully and know how long it's going to take to fail over. How does it work? So what you have on the top of the screen is a disaster recovery site. What you have on the bottom of the screen is the production site, and the right is a remote office. So understanding it's for VMware, it's focused on something we call Veeam at replicas. And on that Veeam replication, that repo on the bottom, in the square there, where you have the orange box with the disk drive sitting there, that easily could be an E-series, a NetApp device there, or even a FAS. Restore plans. It's about orchestrating and automating the restores of VMware vSphere. So it's focused on this one product. Instant VM recovery, something that we have. Now, before V10, we could do one at a time. Really, the whole industry has caught up to that. So we announced in V10 in February the ability to do hundreds of VMs, all in less than 15 minutes recovery. New recovery locations and re-IP. Now, Star Wars, one of my favorite movies and series. Let's see some examples of dynamic documentation. And you can hear Ben Kenobi. Up-to-date documentation. Now, there's something I haven't seen in a long time. Understand these restore plans actually have checkboxes and timings, and you can set these up. There's a lot on the screen, but look at the top right corner with the arrow, restore recovery. It's ready to go. And here's an example of a document, plan group details. You can see that they have success. Green is good, so on the bottom left-hand corner, there's success that you check the license. Replica is good, heartbeat is good. So let's go to the videotape, which is a saying from ESPN in the 1980s. I will date myself there, but I will show actually a video of VAO working. So what's physically happening in this video is they're going to run an enterprise app. They're going to enable this plan. They're going to put the right credentials, Charles Clark's the user here, and execute the change plans. So at this point, you are finished and you've verified and passed the check. Once you pass the check, you're actually going to launch it now. So what you're about to see in this next section here is actually the failover happening. You can see it's updated. It's running right now for the apps. You can see the first two are completed with a replica now running, processing this replica, which you can undo and move around. Very flexible. Failures at 33% completed at this point and going up. So this is an example of Veeam Availability Orchestrator. It is a GUI-based web utility that you can see here. Obviously, this could be a NetApp platform in the back here running these enterprise apps. So it has passed with a couple errors. It is complete, though, and failover has happened. So that's an example of the video that's actually playing there, and that was recorded at an earlier time. So back to the presentation. So VAO version 3. So one thing that Veeam does inherently is we come up with a product, we release version 1. It does a limited amount of functionality, but it's rock solid. So if you look at, we're in beta 2 right now, our version 11 software, introducing things like Mac backup, instant recovery for databases, continued data protection, which will be integrated with VAO, the ability to actually have a failover scenario under 2 seconds. Currently, it's continuous. Continuously backed up that you can do VAO. So let's talk about specifically, because this release was specifically targeted with NetApp. One-click simplicity, that button. Lightning fast disaster recovery migrations. You have a fully validated DR plan before you actually do the DR step to take that step, and then assured compliance for executives or your company information. Let's look at the Veeam NetApp partnership. Makes a lot of sense, actually, that I went from a NetApp with a short stint in another company and really focused on getting at Veeam. Been doing business together almost 7 years, a lot of integration along the way. If you look at the Executive Vice President of Worldwide Field and Customer Operations, Henri Richard, who I've met, really talks about turbocharging data protection together with Veeam and NetApp. So what's new? It's full recovery orchestration for NetApp snapshots. Here's a couple screenshots. You can see that we recognize, hey, it's a NetApp device, and Veeam is on NetApp on that data store for VMware. You can see in here that we can run a data lab test. What's a data lab test? Data lab test is a unique piece to Veeam where we can run in an environment, an isolated VM network in less than 2 minutes to set up. We can choose certain applications and certain VMware VMs and go through and integrate those and fully test in an isolated environment without affecting real-time production in that 2-minute setup, and then test it thoroughly and then shut it all down without affecting production storage. So it's actually those physical VMs that are coming from a backup image. Pretty unique. It's how we do a lot of different things with what we call explorers, and you can open applications. Any application that we can back up, which is any application, we can instantly create a data lab to have you recover data. That would be Oracle, SQL, Exchange. Someone asked me the other day, Lotus Notes Domino. Yes, it works. What about Novell? Yes, it works. So all of that is built. That technology is our secret sauce. Now, what's new with V3? So understanding that, I think 9.7 just came out, Jay, and correct me on that, but that is also supported with storage orchestration, any NetApp SnapMirror snapshots. So it's a fully integrated product with NetApp. Testing utilizes embedded VBR, a plan operator user role, and a new administration dashboard that integrates with NetApp. We have something right now called the DR pack. So it's disaster recovery pack. It's Veeam Availability Orchestrator, a number of VAO licenses. It's priced aggressively that you could get through Keller Schroeder. We'd love to have a conversation with Keller Schroeder about this, Veeam and NetApp. And it's really focused. VAO is a product that's focused on critical VMs, but maybe you have something critical in your infrastructure that means a lot to your organization as a company that you'd also want to protect in there too. It's packaged together what we call Veeam Availability Suite. So Veeam Availability Suite is our Veeam backup replication software to do things like NAS, physical backups, VMs, all the different VMs that exist out there. Now, this is just for VMware vSphere, specifically the VAO product. It does require Enterprise or Enterprise Plus, which are different editions that we have. The packaging, too, is it comes with Veeam-1 software. Veeam-1 software is our monitoring analytics software, and then it does come with SQL Express. So it requires Veeam Availability Suite 3 or later, integrated with NetApp here to get this full production use and actually see this disaster recovery in action. Now, 10A was released about 6 weeks ago, and I know that we have tons of orders already going together with NetApp specifically around this for Enterprise Edition Veeam Availability Orchestrator. Any questions? Oh, I have a question there. I didn't see it. Let me stop sharing my here.
I can go ahead and read it for you if you want to answer. We had that Kevin mentioned creating a data lab. Can this be used to test updates prior to applying to production environment?
Yes, actually, that's a really good use case for that. So QA, test, dev, software development, manufacturing, engineering, anything from a database perspective, a networking test, testing to see if you have malware, viruses, recoverability. All those things are used by data labs all the time. And by the way, we bundle it in our products, so there's no extra cost for data labs. You can run as many data labs as you want. We don't charge you a penny more. I do want to share see if anybody else has any other questions before I share the rest of my my video, which you see the Veeam superhero logo there. I'll explain that in a second after we play the video. Anybody have any other questions right now before I play the last 30 seconds of the video?
I think that was it. I think we're good for now.
Okay, so I will play the last 30 seconds here. And I don't think Jay has seen this yet.
Thanks for joining today's Kevin Scott Fireside Chat. Remember, when you do data protection, you need to step up and have a chat with a partner of Veeam as well as Veeam. And understand that when you need to save the day, save the data, you need to call superheroes.
Is your data protected by superheroes? It can be. Save the day. Save the data. So that was just kind of a fun day. You know, it's not that I think I'm a superhero. That's really not the goal here. The goal here is to enable, with Veeam software, enable a great elite alliance player, global alliance player like NetApp and Keller Schroeder to save the day and save the day to be superheroes for you as customers. That's really the goal here, to enable them to be superheroes for you, not that I think I'm a superhero.
If nothing else, you're entertaining, so at least we got that.
I appreciate that, Jay. We'll get you a superhero shirt.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both, Kevin and Jay, for your presentations. Those are outstanding. Just one last call. If you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. Like we've been saying, there is an Apple Watch up for grabs. So if you really want to win that, we have a couple more opportunities. So if you have any questions.
Melissa says, who would be your top competitors in the market outside of low provider reliable services? What do you believe would be the #1 differentiator that could push your partnership with the competition? Assuming the question is for maybe both of us, Melissa, is it for Veeam and NetApp, or together, or what's the specific there?
I guess you guys could go ahead and answer it as if it was for both of you.
I'll take the Veeam NetApp stab at it, and you can back me up there, Jay. So as your partnership, overall competitors in the market. Okay, so top competitors in the market. Today, so I mentioned we're a $5 billion company, and we have real assets of that money. There's some competitors out there that are making a lot of noise, and I'll call them out by name. I'm actually doing a competitive series on them because Veeam shines a lot when it's compared to those competitors, but a Cohesity and Rubrik appliance vendors that make this concept. Now, they haven't made any money yet. They have got about 2,000 customers worldwide, and they're burning through cash, which is unfortunate for them. Understand their technology. Instead, if you take a Veeam solution backed by a $5 billion company, I can't remember, Jay, I think NetApp's valued about $10 billion right now. And I know that we talked about this before. You have that 100,000 individual customers and more going forward. Our solution to bundle together, Veeam and NetApp together, is stronger from a financial perspective, from an engineering perspective, and as a customer experience, way over the top of any of these other vendors that really haven't made any money yet in the industry. And then you also have out there Dell, which I think is, at this point, has an inability to be able to focus on anything. Lots of acquisitions, lots of distraught. And what I hear, and I'm not trashing or bashing them, what I hear from customers and partners is that it's a struggle to do things together. Veritas, very long in the tooth company, about 100,000 customers, but almost all of them enterprise. And this is how it's summarized, and I'll give you the ball, Jay. I'd summarize Veeam like this. If you go to LinkedIn and search for Veritas Backup Admin as a job title, you will find lots and lots and lots of people with that title. Then go search for Dell Backup Admin, and you'll find lots and lots of people with that title. Search for Veeam Backup Admin. You will find close to zero. You know why? Because if you're a backup admin of Veeam, you're also doing something else to further your career, whether it's data, engineering, software development, you're managing a group of a team lead, doing something where you're positively affecting the business. Jay, did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it. And we have a common competitor of Dell. Certainly, they certainly outmarket us and outnumber us. But lately, we've been winning because of our messaging around cloud. Storage is storage, but the question is, does it enable you to do the things you need to do? And is it in line with your business objectives of going to cloud or not? And when having even if you're not looking at cloud today, which is great, I don't necessarily, but that NetApp is there tomorrow if you need to. And I think that's a big differentiator. The other ones we look at locally here, Pure certainly makes a big splash, but they don't have any hybrid systems, so we tend to beat them there, and we have a much more cohesive cloud message as well. And then probably HPE, but NetApp specializes in data storage and data management. If we don't succeed at that, we don't succeed. But we do succeed. We're a profitable company. We pay a shareholder dividend. And been around for 25 years doing exactly this. But we're not a great marketing company, which is why we rely on partners like Keller Schroeder to help us in different cities. So thank you, Keller Schroeder, and that's hand it to you to give away the giveaways.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Thanks, Mallory. Thanks, Keller Schroeder. Thanks, NetApp, for your great partnerships. So I guess you're about to call Apple Watch winner here.
We actually will wait and announce the Apple Watch winner when we send out the email that will have this recording of the survey. So stay tuned for that. And thank you, Kevin and Jay, again for your time today, and everyone for joining us. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.
Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care. Yeah, bye-bye.